Ever since I started my running journey, everybody has always asked me, from law enforcement, family, and friends, how can they get started in running? Well, I can show you better than I can tell you. So this is where my running journey started, here at Fleet Feet, and this is also where my son, our special guest, his running journey is actually going to start. Fleet Feet is a great running store for those who want to get into running, and like I said, I can show you better than I can tell you. Let's go find out.
Hey guys, welcome to Fleet Feet.
Ms. Trevor, this is my son Zach. We heard a lot about Fleet Feet, and we're just new to running. Where do we go from here?
The first step is always shoes. I'll tell every runner that. So my suggestion would be to come in, let's talk, let's figure out what you've got going on, and let's put you through our fit process.
Sounds good.
All right, Mr. Zach, if you can climb up here for me, step a little bit further. Make sure you're not stepping on a line or a black dot. All right, good job. Can you look straight ahead for me? All right, I need you to stand super still, and I'm gonna let you pop a bubble for me. Can you pop a bubble? There you go. Stand real still till that stops swirling. All right, we have a scan. Now come over here. Can you stand right here for me? All right, see this little guy? We're gonna walk back and forth across this. This is gonna tell me where your foot has pressure, but everywhere that you see that's blue, it's not gonna pick up your feet, okay? So you're gonna walk all the way through, turn around, and come back. We're gonna keep doing that until I have all the steps, okay? You do that whenever you're ready. Okay, look up, walk normal. Pretend like you're late getting home and your mom's gonna be mad if you don't hurry up, and I need you to get home for dinner.
So this is pretty cool. I never seen a store that has a 3D scanner, and also this is a walk pad, as you call it.
Yes, sir.
So my question to you guys would be is what separates Fleet Feet from other running stores?
Well, really what separates Fleet Feet from other running stores is our level of service. So most of the products that you can get in here, you can buy anywhere. You can buy at any big chain, you can buy online. Even more companies are picking up with some of the technology pieces, but the level of training that we put into our staff and the level of training that our vendors put into our staff, like each vendor is coming in and training our staff on all of the technologies of the shoes, as well as a lot of biomechanical and, just general kinesiology of the body and the foot and how the foot responds to force and the technologies.
And that's the purpose of the walk pad here.
The pressure pad tells us where the pressures are. So this is just basically a fancy branding device. It's going to give me sizes, and it's going to give me like circumference measurements. Where is your foot narrow? Where is your foot, thicker?
Wow.
Where's your foot more volume or less volume? This is a pressure pad. So this is going to tell us where the support is needed and where the pressures are on the foot. And then my job is to take that information and transform it into a shoe recommendation and balance out those issues so you're more comfortable.
All that information just to fit the shoe.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Sounds different. That's great. Okay.
All right, let's come on over here, and then we will start talking about shoes. How's that? Show you pictures of your feet. Here you can see your feet. We can see them from all different angles. See, I like to look at your arch. And see what your arch looks like while you're standing. You can make one disappear and see your arch that way.
It's pretty cool, right?
And then I also like to look at your heel to see where your heel aligns. To see how your body absorbs shock while you're standing, or how your body handles shock while you're standing. And then we're gonna come over here. I like to look at your size. What size are you wearing now?
Size shoe? 2? Yeah.
Uh-oh, you've grown. We need to go a little bit bigger.
Okay, 3.
So I put it in a 4.
A 4. So I have a question then.
Yeah.
So running shoes, I was always told about running shoes, you want to go like a size up. Is that true?
Yes, and it depends on the distance.
Okay.
But if you're just going to be running, you've got to allow that foot to swell a little bit.
Okay.
So I tell everybody, when you have the foot in the shoe, you should be able to play the piano and not feel the end of the shoe.
That's not okay.
If you can feel the end of the shoe, you're going to bruise your toes, you can lose toenails and things like that.
Okay, that makes sense. So always go like a half size or a full size up.
Depending on the shoe, I usually tell everybody a thumb width.
A thumb width.
Yes.
Okay, great.
depending, and sometimes if somebody's not running, maybe more like a half a thumb width.
Okay.
But usually if you're running, I like to suggest a thumb width.
Okay, great.
And then when we look here, here's your dynamic scan, and we can see those feet. I like to see where the pressures are, so I know how to kind of put some support on your feet. And see, you got a lot of pressure right there and in your heels. Do your heels ever ache? No? Okay, well that's good, that's good. But this is what I'm gonna focus on when I try to get you in the right shoe, okay?
All right, sounds good.
What's the yellow?
The yellow means it's a little bit of pressure, but not a lot. The darker the red, the more pressure you have. Make sense? All right, now it's for the fun part. We get to try on some shoes. You ready?
It's like you said, it's important to go at least a half size, or depending on the run,
Yes.
to go up a little bit.
Yes. So if it's somebody who is just walking or casual wear, maybe a half a thumb, and a lot of it depends on how the brands run. Some of the brands run a smaller, some run larger, depending on the season.
Okay.
It's kind of unpredictable how they arrive sometimes. We're gonna start with this one.
I got you.
But yes, the longer you run, like if you're marathon training, you're gonna want some room. Otherwise, you're gonna outswell the shoes, and you're gonna end up having some bruised toes.
Great.
Which is very uncomfortable.
Okay.
If you've ever lost a toenail running, that's when it happens.
No. So I do have another question about shoes in general. But I was always told about carbon plated shoes or non-carbon plated shoes. What does that actually mean?
That means that there is actually a carbon like shank in the shoe.
Okay.
And when you look at cushion, there's two different types of cushion. There's a cushion that's going to protect your joints, and it's going to be like a marshmallow. It's going to absorb all of the stress. And then you have that rebound, like think of a diving board. So the carbon plate is designed to give you that energy return, like a super amount of energy return.
Okay.
And usually it has an exaggerated toe spring. That toe spring really rolls you forward so that you can run faster.
Okay.
That's not something I recommend running in every day,
Okay.
but you should have different shoes for different reasons, and that should be a part of your toolbox if that is your goal.
Sounds good.
All right, did that answer your question?
Yes.
All right, let's slide this one in. These are a little bit bigger. All right, can I get you to give me a tap back on the floor? This is when you get to kick your shoes on the floor, on the heels.
And so you were saying, as far as running shoes, some shoes may run bigger than others. So you're a 4.5 in one, you might be a 4 in another one. Just because the way it's cut?
Yes.
Wow.
Just the way it's cut, and I think just manufacturing.
Okay.
Because I know there's one shoe that I run in, I'm a 7, and there's another shoe that I run in that I'm an 8, and then most of the time I am a 7.5. I fall in the middle. But those two brands, that one I'm a 7, and one of them I'm an 8. Everything else I am a solid 7.5.
Okay.
So, can you touch the heel back? Let me touch your toes. Just kick it. There you go. And stand up for me. And see, just right here's a prime example. This is a 4.5. This is a 3.5. Touch his toes.
So we went over shoes and the essentials of them, but I have another question. So when we talk about running, there are a lot of things to consider. Running safety, running at night, injuries. So can you kind of speak about what can a runner get for as far as running safety, and also what are some common injuries that we have?
Okay, so as far as running safety, the first and foremost, I would say visibility.
Okay.
Our rule of thumb with our training program runners is we suggest 3 points of reflectivity because you want to be identified as a human, especially if you're on a road.
Okay.
So we have tons of little flashy lights, reflective gear.
Okay.
Most of the apparel has a hint of reflectivity on it, which is also one of the benefits of actual running gear.
Okay.
Some of the common injuries that can occur, so we see a lot, it was like plantar fasciitis or like Achilles tendonitis.
And what is that exactly?
Okay, so anytime you see like a tissue name followed by itis, it's an inflammatory response in that tissue. So plantar fasciitis is basically, so on the bottom of the foot, we have this little guy here. This is your plantar fascia. And it runs from the heel all the way to each of your toes. And so if you get inflammation in your plantar fascia, you get plantar fasciitis. If you get inflammation in your Achilles tendon, you get Achilles tendonitis.
Makes sense.
So bursitis is inflammation in a bursa sac. So it just depends on the tissue that's involved. Plantar fasciitis usually starts out in that inside of the heel. Feels like a bone bruise, like you stepped on a rock. And then it's that pain. The best way I can describe it is when you first wake up in the morning and you get out of bed, and you're in a lot of pain until you get blood flow and you get everything loosened up, and then that pain will go away. All right, so the last step is these shoes feel really good, right? I'm going to see if I can make them feel better, okay? So this right here is what's in your shoe. It's pretty flat, right? Okay. Well, this little guy, remember that red dot on your foot that we saw? Well, this is going to help alleviate that red dot and spread out some of that so that it's spread throughout your whole foot and not just in that one spot. But see how this is not flat? This is going to hold your heel in place, and it's got a little resting place for that arch, okay? So we take the other one out, and then we slide this one in, okay? See? So what that's going to give you is some extra support.
Play the piano. All right, there's only one last test. Let's run. That was the ending scene, brother. That was it. All right.